Hello. MBA distance mode, part 1, semester 1, paper 1, principles of management. That is, course shortcut name is PM, course code is 86908. Contact session 2. Who is speaking? Mute yourself. In this contact session, we are going to see the syllabus, review of all units. In this contact session, we are going to see the syllabus, review of all units, paper pattern, and basic general instructions regarding the examination. Out of which, without spending much more time, let us start our today's contact session. That is principles of management. These are the what are the course outcome? Course outcome, that concept is related to the what we are going to achieve after learning the specific unit or specific subject for distance mode MBA. Which are those course outcome? That means after studying thoroughly the principles of management subject, which outcomes we are going to achieve, so that just a second. Which are those course outcome? That means after thoroughly studying the principles of management subject, which things we are going to achieve, these are generally called as course outcomes. That means outcomes received by individual learner after completion of studying the course. That is principles of management, which is first is knowledge of various management concept. After completion of this course, the student will able to understand, be familiar with various management concept, which are those that are mentioned in the syllabus, that are mentioned in your self-learning material, generally treated as a management concept, and to be familiar with or to gain the proper and effective knowledge of various management concepts, then understand various management concept. First of all, to gain the knowledge of various management concept, and later to understand various management concept. What is next? Next is application of different techniques. Which are those techniques? Managerial techniques, managerial principles in day-to-day life, in business practices, and all. Then analysis of information and situation for making decision. Analysis of information and situation, to analyze the specific information to specific situation. For which purpose? For making the decision. Because in management sector, or you can say in management field, managers has to take decisions based upon which the future roadmap of your organization or fulfillment of other requirements from your organization through your predetermined objectives are going to be worked only based upon the decision taken by the respective management. So, how to take decisions, and based upon that decision taking phase, prior to that, how to analyze the information and situation which is in your hand, take effective and efficient decision making to achieve your organizational objectives and goals. Next outcome, course outcome is evaluation of various alternatives for best selection. आता in case sometimes you got information, you also observe situation, and you have more than two options to choose or to take a decision. In that situation, what to do, which is the best alternative, which is the best solution, so that you may, after taking your decision, your organization, your specific space situation will get a fruitful solution. So if there are in through the making the decisions, if there are number of possibilities of decision making, you may definitely select the best option. That best option and its selection is definitely based upon the evaluation of various alternatives. So to evaluate and to create yourself the existing evaluation process, that may be the outcome of this course principles of management. So these are the five outcomes that we are expecting, that we are going to earn after thoroughly studying the course principles of management. That is your paper number one from semester one of part one MBA distance more. Second thing, principles of management, expected skill impartation through. Expected skill impartation means once you started to study the concepts and all the related allied things which are in association with your principles of management course, or you can say generally it is a subject, then which things will you improve yourself prior learning how you are and after learning the principles of management. What improvement you think that it must be bring into yourself, that we are going to learn that expected skill. Which are those expected skills? The expected skills impartial through study. Which are those expected skill? Out of which first is the decision making skill. Decision making skill, you will get identified yourself that yes, you have gained your decision making skill properly prior learning to principles of management, and after learning the unit principles of management you will find yourself that yes, I have improved my decision making skill. How it is improved? Because it is very important thing to improve the decision making skill. But how, again question remains, that how it will be identified that yes, your decision making skill has been improved? The only thing behind that is knowledge of scientific information, knowledge of principles of management, knowledge of thorough points, techniques that comes under the management philosophy, various concept of management. All such aspects of management, once you get understood effectively, that decision making skill, definitely you observe yourself as improved decision making skill that you have imparted yourself prior learning to such principles of management, and after learning of such principles of management you will find yourself that yes, you have got a new vision to get decision making ability in effective and efficient manner as compared to previous one. Then which is the next expected skill that will get imparted after thoroughly study of these principles of management? That is the second expected skill is managerial skills. Which are those skills that we are going to study one after another thoroughly through this upcoming session? Decision making skill, we have learned that definitely you will find yourself the improved decision making skills. But how it is managerial skills? Because we are going to deal with the course, or you can say subject, as principles of management. But in that principles of management, how you can impart your managerial skills? Because in our upcoming syllabus we are going to see various concepts of management. In that, managerial skills based upon various management functions, based upon various management techniques, how you can improve yourself as a manager, how can convert yourself as a general person to the management person, or how you can develop yourself the normal skilled person to the managerial skilled person, that will define your thorough study of this course, that is principles of management. Then let us see which are the exactly points that comprised of the syllabus of principles of management. That is unit 1, production introduction to management, out of which you might have gone through these points during your first contact session, but let us revise speedily all those points in this session so that collectively you might get a content which cover all the units thoroughly in a single session. So through this session we are going to study, or overview you can say, of a whole course, that is whole subject principles of management, including its 4 out of 4 units irrespective of previous contact sessions. So unit 1, introduction to management. In this you might have observed the syllabus previously, but even though, let us revise the concept of management. Which is the concept of management? Why it is important? Nature of management, scope, how widen the scope of management is, function, for which function management concept is introduced, which are those function, identification of functions, related theory, elements of management, levels of management and its functions, important and functional importance of management, along with functional areas of management, management of business environment, the social responsibility of management. These are the syllabus contents which are included in unit number one, that is introduction to management. Most of the student you might have studied thoroughly this unit one. Most of you student may have completed your assignments based upon these principles of management. Secondly, through this subject, we are going to deal with the unit number two, that is the evolution of management thoughts, in which are the points comprised in or included in the unit number two, the evolution of management thoughts. Those are study of scientific management. What is meant by management? We have studied in our first unit. Then later, study of scientific management, pre-industrial revolution period, contribution of management thinkers in management thought. Which are those management thinkers? Frederick Winslow Taylor, Henry Fayol, etc. Then approaches to the management, which are various approaches that management has following based upon their time span and been happened in past from initial stage to till date. Which are the various approaches? Initially the classical approach, then neoclassical approach, system approach, then which are the recent trends in management we are going to be familiar in this unit number two. Then new concept, that is MBO, that means management by objectives. What is the process of MBO and its importance? All these things we are going to thoroughly study in the unit number two. Then our unit number three consists of functions of management. That is part number one, because functions of management, that concept or a part of principles of management subject has divided into two units. That is unit three, principles of management part one, and unit number four, functions of management part one, and unit number four, functions of management part number two. Then a question may arise in your mind that which are the functions included in your unit 3? The first function is a planning function. What is meant by planning? The nature of planning, principles, process, types and limitations of planning. Such are the simple terminologies and concepts are included. The first function of management, that is planning. The second function is organizing. Basic concept of organizing, basic concept, importance of organizing, process of organizing, span of control, types of organization, structure, and design, all related with the organizing function, which consist of basic concept, importance, and organization, process of organizing, span of control, types of organization, structure, and design. Third function, which we are going to study through unit number three, part one, as staffing, importance and process of staffing, recruitment, selection, induction, and placement. These are various terminologies, various concepts, various techniques under management with special reference to the staffing function of management, under which we are going to study the importance of staffing, process of staffing, recruitment function of staffing, selection, induction, and placement processes. After which recently on Monday afternoon we have completed our induction and orientation program. Based upon this, you might have cleared the idea about what exactly meant by the induction. So we will see it later on. And remaining unit number four, that is the second part of third unit, that is functions of management part two, in which we are going to deal with the directive nature and placement principles, purpose and need of the directing, elements of directing. What exactly mean by the directing? How the directing principle is important. Our directing function is important under the heading of management, or why it is important in management sector. Communication, new concept in the pure view of a management. Communication, you might have heard a buzzword from you here and there and everywhere, but what exactly mean by the communication? What is the concept of communication in terms of management terminologies? Its process, types of business communication, effective communication. Then point comes next to the communication is the supervision. It is meant by supervision, its a nature, objective, principle, and types of supervision. Leadership, leadership style, future perspectives of leadership. Then motivation concept, which are the techniques of motivation, how to bring motivation among others. Motivation theory, need theory, two factor theory, equity theory, expectancy theory, goal setting theory, theory X and theory Y. These all are the various types of theories proposed by various management thinkers with respect to the concept of motivation. So understanding motivation is very important task in this unit number 4. The next function of management, the last function of management is the controlling process. What is the process of controlling? What is mean by controlling? It's a process requirement for effective control, control techniques, types of control, and use of it in the controlling. Use of means information technology for controlling purpose. So in unit number 4, the remaining functions of management, that is directing and controlling, etc. we are going to deal with. Students, you might have observed the various terminologies that comprise in the syllabus, which I have already displayed on your screen from unit number 1 to unit number 4. You might have observed that the terminologies or concept of management having specific nomenclature, a specific name, that itself is a self-explanatory one. For example, communication, the word is not new for you. You are well versed with the communication word. Leadership, supervision, motivation. These all are the words which are going to use day to day life in our day to day life. But why to learn it here? Because these day to day life's terminologies which we are going to use our on a regular or frequent basis, what is the role of that frequent basis use the terminologies in a business perspective? We have to just change our view from general one a specific business oriented. We have to focus, or we have to move our general focus to our administrative point of view, and which two things we have previously decided to imparting ourselves. First one is decision making, and second is the managerial skills. All these two imparting of these special skills into yourself, you have to achieve all the conceptualities, terminologies shown or described through the unit number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so let us move further. International management study of at least two locally managed and international operating organizations to be familiar with how management concept work at the international level. So let us start the review of all units. Review of all the units. Now let us see the unit number 1, that is introduction to management. For this purpose, I request to all that please bring or keep your self learning material open in front of you so that you will be familiar with all the conceptualities, because we are not going to give thorough discussion, we are not going to conduct a thorough discussion or thorough lectures to this context session, as in our previous induction and orientation program we have understood the role of context session is nothing but not teaching the concept but to solve the queries. So quickly we are going to review all the units one after another. Then, first of all, meaning and definitions of management. You will find in your self-learning material that there are various authors have given various definitions and meaning and conceptualities of a management concept. What is meant by management? Generally, it is said that management is getting work done from other, getting work done from other. But in new terminologies, we can say that not only getting work done from other, but it is also with the others, because he only instructing role, it is of no use in today's era. You have to you have to bring yourself on a ground level along with the others by matching your shoulders with the other to achieve the organizational objectives and goal, so that getting work done from other and with other, we can call it as a management. So you will find in your self learning material that various definitions given by the various management philosophers, authors, and well known personalities such as Peter F. Drucker, Ralph C. Davis, McFarland, Louis Allen, Henry Fayol, Arnold Hunz, William Spengel, Donald Klopp, James Mooney, and Alan Rayleigh, F.W. Taylor, that is Frederick Winslow Taylor. All the authors and management philosophers had given various definitions in their point of view. But summarizely, what is the management? Management is getting work done through and with or by and with the others. We can call it as a management function. Then what is the nature of that management? How exactly management is? Nature of management. Management is a process. First of all, we have to see that management is a process. It is not a phase, or it is not a specific position, or it is not a specific step to be followed, but it is a whole process. Sequential process is a management. Management is a science. You might have observing or looking into your self-learning material. Management is an art. Why it is art? Because skillfully you have to implement it in your organization or your in day-to-day life. So it required art. That's why management is an art, and management is a science. Why it is science? Because science is specifically depend upon various types of rules, regulation, and principle. And remember, the title of our topic is principles of management. That means management has a specific principles, so that management is also a science. So if someone has asked that what is the management, whether management is art or a science, you definitely has to say that management is a both. Management is an art as well as management is a science. Management is a profession. That's why here taken admission here. It is a professional program. Management is a profession. Management is a discipline. Management is a purposeful activity. Management is pervasive activity. Purposeful means what? With the help of specific purpose only you can manage all these things. If there is no any presence of a purpose or objective, no need of any type of management. So management is a purposeful activity. Management is a pervasive activity. All pervasive means combination or collection of all the stakeholders, all the aspects of your business collectively required achieve certain management activities. So that management is a pervasive activity. Management is a group activity, and management is a development of people, not only direction of a people. It is also related with our definition that management is getting work done not only from other one but also with the other one, because your involvement is important. So it is not only directing the people but also developing the people, not only other but also yourself as well. Management is a continuous process. Is there any case for their for present year we are going to manage the things for your organization and next year there is no requirement of management? No. Management require throughout the year over the periods. So management is a continuous process. Such type of terminologies there are another terminologies that mentioned in your self-learning material. You have to hope that you have already studied all those terminologies that comes under the nature of management. Next point is the scope of a management. What is the scope? How widen the concept of management is? Which are the horizons? Which are the boundary lines of a management concept that comes under the scope of management? Which are the things that happen under the jurisdiction of a management, or you may say that scope of a management. The various scope given in your self-learning material, that is this production management, marketing management, financial management. These are the various scope, or you can say various horizons, various aspects of management. Then functions of management. Our third unit and fourth unit is dedicated to this functions of management. Which are those functions of management? First is the planning function of management. Why it is necessary to plan? Remember one thing, friends. Planning is a very crucial stage in any type of activity. How it is so? If you have started any type of activity without planning, then there is a possibility of wasting your resources. You are getting decision in a wrong manner, improper implementation of your decisions, and finally you will face a huge loss for your business as well as in your personal life as well. So planning function is very important. What is exactly meant by the planning? Planning means basically deciding before doing. Generally, what we say, we do first and then decide whether we were wrong or right. But deciding priorly to doing, that means to carry out a certain activity, a proper thought process or a thinking process before it is generally termed as the planning function of a management. The second is organizing function. What is organizing function? The function to organize. Name itself says that it's a meaning to organize. Organize means to make facilitate, to make available. Which are those? What to make available? The resources. Which are those resources? We can say five M's. Which are those five M's? Man, material, money, machines, methods. These are the five M terminologies. We have to organize. So then and only then we can say that our organization is running full-fledged operations to achieve the organizational objectives. Then third function is the staffing function. No doubt you have planned well, you have organized all the resources, but there is absence of manpower. Then who will mobilize these resources? To mobilize these resources. Staff is required. Staff requirement of staff is comes under the staffing function of management. It will mobilize the resources to convert a raw material into finished product and hence achieving your organizational objectives. Then next function is directing function. So you have planned well, you have organized all the resources, you brought a human resource to carry out all those activities. But how to control, how to supervise all these things? Under whose guidance all this activity will run? For that purpose, proper directing is necessary. Proper directing means proper guideline, proper supervision is required whether all the activities are going to be carried in a proper manner, predefined manner, without moving further in a wrong direction or without wasting the resources, without losing your resources. It is very important aspect in directing function of a management, under which we will study the motivation, leadership, communication, supervision. These are the sub points. Then last function is the controlling function of a management. Initially, what we say, we have planned well, we have organized all the resources, we have fulfilled the human resource requirement to mobilize all that resources, also to carry out all the works in a proper direction. The directing function also we observe. The last is a controlling. Why it is controlling is important. You might have a question in your mind that no doubt till the directing it is okay, but what is the controlling? Controlling is nothing but it is basically difference between the actual situation with the standard one. The difference between both we can call it as a controlling phase. How it is so? For example, you have to produce 100 units of pen, your target value 100 units of pen, but actually you have produced only 70 units of pen, where you are lagging by 30 pens. Then what is the controlling process does? It compares between both. Which are the standard? Standard means you have predefined that is 100 pens production. But what is the reality? You have produced just 70 pens. You are lagging 30 pens than expected. Then once you get comparison between both that 100 versus 70, you will find that 30 pens are lagging than the type of standard one. So what will you do? You will recheck where you are getting wrong, which things happen in adverse manner, which thing happened in a wrong manner, so that instead of getting 100 pence, you just got a 70 pence. To find out that reason and to overcome that reason is the important task of a controlling function. Hope you understood the controlling function of a management. Then next is elements of a management. Which are those elements? Important aspects you can say management: the identification of work responsibility, defining the work, forecasting of things, job analysis, the various type of job profiles or activities you can say, which you have to bring into reality while actually working on the field. All those enlisted in your self-learning material under the heading of elements of management. Okay. The next is the levels of management. Which are those levels of management? There is a pyramid shown in your self-learning material, having top management as a peak point to the lower management as a bottom. In between both, there is a middle management. Okay, authority will come down from top to bottom, and responsibility will go up from down to top. Which are those top management? Which personalities are included in middle management, and who are the contributors in lower level management? All examples are given in your self-learning material. Next one is importance of management. Why it is important to study the management? Because you will be familiar with basic general terminologies in management. If you think that you can manage your organization without scientific information of all these things, no doubt. But you require some advisors to your organization, and these advisors are well versed with these management terminologies. That doesn't mean that you, if you don't have your management knowledge, no doubt, but you have to hire such personality in your organization, those who have knowledge or those who are well aware with management concept, management philosophies. So in this case, management terminologies are very important. You might have observed that there are not many organizations whose owner might not have taken a formal degree of a MBA, even though they are successfully running their organization. Definitely, most of you are observed such condition in your real life. That owner has not taken owner has not taken a formal education of Master of Business Administration, even though he or she is running their organization perfectly. How it is so? It is only because he or she has recruited or hired the persons or personnel or human resource. Those are well versed with or having effective and efficient knowledge, effective and efficient knowledge in management concept. Understood? That means directly or indirectly, you need the management personnel for your business. So it is very much important thing that knowledge of management is very important for not only running the successful business, but also taking decisions and being a perfect human being in day-to-day life as well. You might have observed that why I am saying like this. It is only because which skill set we are going to impart in ourselves. The first is decision making skill, and second is management skill. Are these two skills? Management terminologies and its understanding is very important, and its understanding level is necessary in effective and efficient manner. Then and only then we can implement our strategies into the reality and we will achieve the organizational objective in effective and efficient manner. Previously, you might have known that in your context session number one, I have dealt with the management economics concept, and in that case, the core terminology was to take a decision or proper decision making. Likewise, in management, overall management, the key terminology is achievement of organizational objectives. Achievement of organizational objective is the prime importance in any type of management concept. So, how to achieve that organizational objectives? Through these management functions. Which are those? Planning, organizing, staffing, leading, or directing, and controlling. All these functionalities, by using all these functionalities only, one can achieve the organizational objective in effective and efficient manner. Why it is necessary in effective and efficient manner? If you take number of years to achieve in achieving your organizational objectives, it is of no use because time boundedness is very important in present globalization, in present cutthroat competition, in present day-to-day changing technology world. Time boundedness is very important. Okay, for this purpose, importance of management and its management concept is also very necessary to learn, and that's why we have introduced this point in our introduction to management unit number one. Then functional areas of business management. Since the scope of management we have seen Similarly, functional areas of a management are related to the scope of a management. Which are those functional areas of management? For your sake of understanding, we can treat it as various disciplines under management or various branches of management. You can treat it as instead of functional areas. Which are those? Production management, materials management, inventory management, transport management, all the types of management that mentioned in your self-learning material, go through it in detail, or some of you might have gone through it. Why it is so? The functional areas of management, no doubt. We are managing all the things to achieve the organizational objectives and all. But what is the important functionality of a management specifically or operation oriented or discipline oriented that has been discussed in the functional areas of management and here all. Which are those functional areas of management? That is production, materials, inventory, transport, office management, etc. Are for business related. For non-business or a service sector, which are those functional areas? That is public utility services, environmental management, accounts, audit. These are the service related management. We cannot directly observe this type of management activities by our eyes, or you can consider it as only you can feel or only you can intangibly convert all those terminologies into the management concept and all. Such type of things and all you might observe in your service sector. Understood? In your service sector, in management and in business sector, manufacturing sector as well as service sector. Management is important, but the services are intangible, cannot be observed, but it can be felt or it can be experienced, but physically cannot be observed as compared to the manufacturing services. Understood? And next is the management of a business environment. How that management of business environment can be done? Environment, it might be external environment or internal environment, no doubt. Then what is exactly meant by the environment? What are the internal environment? What are the external environment? What are the nature of business environment? Environment means economic environment, dynamic concept, various factors, economic systems, then concept internal, external. All these things are very simple and having its straightforward meaning. You might have observed yourself while dealing with all the concept in your self-learning material, or almost from all of you have gone through all these conceptualities thoroughly previously while studying the unit number one. Okay, so in this unit number one, last point is our social responsibility management. Which are those things which are going to cover into the social responsibility of management and all these things, terminologies. Okay, now in this social responsibility, your commitment is very important towards the all the aspects that are seeking a help, seeking a contribution from your side, from the society. So we can generally treat it as a social responsibility of management can be defined as the obligation and commitment of manager to take steps for protection and improvement of services welfare along with protecting their own interest. This is the definition of social responsibility of management that has been given into self-learning material. What exactly mean by it? The social responsibility of management can be defined as obligation and commitment. It says that it's your obligation, it's your commitment that you have to be responsible for certain things. Those are completed or fulfilled in the interest of a public, including your own interest. Suppose, for example, you know Pandharpurchi Wari. You might have observed, or most of the student from you also experience these things in your the Pandharpurchi Wari. During that Wari, for example, say from Alandi to Pandharpur, or from Dehu to Pandharpur, or from any other destination, from any other source to the final destination as a Pandharpur. In that Wari, many corporate offices, many corporate organizations bring themselves on a road for helping the Varkaris. Some try to give the drinking water bottles, some try to give free medical services, some try to give cloth, some try to give food to the Varkaris. This is not enforced by law to them that you have to help the workers. No, no one has insisted them to do such things, but they obliged themselves. They committed themselves to have a service to the society and hence a service to the nations through this media. But what is their personal interest? Another personal interest you might observe that they are use such public for their marketing purpose. For example, uh, during Wari, sometimes those are rainy days. Due to rainfall, Warkari requires umbrellas. In between few years ago or even last year also, a raincoat making or umbrella making organization, I could not mention its name here because it is not a part of our curriculum, but for the sake of understanding purpose, the umbrella making organization tried to distribute their umbrellas at free of cost as a service to the Warkaris during Wari. Automatically, those Warkari brought that umbrella having brand name imprinted on that umbrella carried out everywhere. Automatically, he or she has act as a marketing representative for their organization. Here it is a dual profit to that organization, marketing and social responsibility. Both they have hit at a time. That's why we have seen the social responsibility management's definition. It's obligation and commitment of managers to take steps for protection and improvement of services, along with protecting their own interest. Here it is, we have observed that own interest is their organization's marketing. Okay. So after that, you might have observed the thorough concept and its discussion in your self-learning material. And thus, we conclude here our unit number one, introduction to the management. In the second unit, the evolution of management thought. Why it is important to learn the evolution of management thought? Because till date we have learning management, and just management. But how that management has developed from previous era? What is its historical development? We are going to study through this unit the evolution of a management thought, how it has been developed from past era, and what is its present status till date. We are going to give justice to such queries by understanding the thorough knowledge by this unit number two, the evolution of management thoughts. Pre-industrial era. Pre-industrial era means industrialization started from before that. We can call it as a pre-industrial era. Industrial revolution started in Europe in 70s, 1700s, 1800s, and in between that. Before that, how was the management concept? How was its implementation? How was the stage and level of management? has been discussed here through the pre-industrial era. So you might have observed in your self-learning material, or I have insisted you to keep in open position in front of you as we are going to progress, as we are going to be proceed further unit wise, point wise. So you might have observed that in your table number 2.1, that is historical building blocks, a time period initially started to study before Christ 3000 to 2400. Sumerian groups developed written record. For management, record is very much important, and its recording took place in a written format that evidences observed initially by the Sumerians during 3000 to 2400 before Christ BC. From that period to 3000 to 1000 BC, Egyptian developed first national government and extensive civilization, built massive buildings. Then, after that, 2700 and 500 BC, Babylonians, then Greeks, Romans, Chinese, Venetians, Machiavellis, Adam Smith, L. Whitney. These are the contributors, and a group of contributors has given their contributions in evolution of management thoughts in pre-industrial era. How it is has been given thoroughly in your self-learning material. Then contribution of management thinkers in management thought. Which are those thinkers? F.W. Taylor, Henry Fayol, Max Weber, Elton Mayo, Mary Parker Follett, F.W. Taylor, and Elton Mayo made a significant contribution. Out of which, if you try to consider that, which are the major contributors? Then Frederick Winslow Taylor, Elton Mayo, etc., made a significant contribution to the management. As far as modern management concept is concerned, you might have get familiar with such importance of these two peoples in our upcoming syllabus. The next is the approaches to the management thought. Which are those approaches? Why it is initially called approaches? Approaches means nothing but it is a technique. How management techniques get developed from ancient era to till date, that has been discussed under the heading of approaches to the management thought, out of which first is of the classical approach. Classical approach generally having its time span between 1880 to 1920. In that classical approach, there are three sub approaches get proposed by various management philosophers. These are the scientific management approaches, administrative management approach, and bureaucratic management approach. Proposed by F.W. Taylor, Henry Furlong, Max Weber, respectively. These are the terminologies you have to keep in your mind and easily understanding. For which purpose? For understanding how management get developed. We are going to study management in 2023 year, but prior to this, where management started, which is the initial point or a source of a management concept. If we are become familiar with all that, then we will be automatically be familiar with its importance, and it will create the awareness among the learners or students of business administration that yes, we are going to study those concepts which has historic background, which has been contributed by many management thinkers, management philosophers previously, and then and only then we are going to see the nature of a management in this session. Okay. Then neoclassical approach. What is meant by neoclassical approach? The human relationship approach, behavioral approach are the major contributors in this case. Then you might observe next that modern approach that contributes a time span from 1940 to till date. System approach, contingency approach, quantitative approach, etc. These are the various approaches for just the sake of understanding what exactly the evolutionary process of a management concept or management thoughts. You have to observe using your self-learning material, and or you might have learned it previously. Then classification of a management thoughts. How these management thoughts get classified. Then classification we have seen classical approaches of management, neoclassical approaches of management, and modern approaches of management with their time span. Then management by objectives. How management can be learned or as advantage stage, or what you can say, the recent trend in management. If we are going to consider our present era as a benchmarked situation, then management by objective plays a vital role. Till date, what we have done, we have dealt with the planning. After completion of planning, we are engaged in organizing all the resources. After organizing, we started to staffing function. After getting sufficient staff, we have started our work with proper directed manner, with supervision, close observation to follow the proper track for completion of your objectives and all the objectives. Then you might observe that last stage we have completed, that is controlling. Whether we are going to fulfill all the activities, all the functions in a proper manner, or we have going in a wrong direction. That has been identified by that last phase, that is controlling. And all the feedback should be goes at every stage to get follow up regarding whether we are going in a wrong direction or we are going in a correct direction. So by taking proper feedback and suggestions, we can overcome our pitfalls, we can overcome our mistakes. And so, by making our system foolproof, we are moving further to achieve our organizational objectives. So in that case, objective achievement or finalization of objective is become a last stage. But the modern approach, that is management by objective, is exactly reverse process than that of what we have discussed recently. Initially, objective is a setting, no doubt. Objective can be set at previous phase also or in this phase also. But what is difference between both? Just deciding objective and to run behind that objective for achievement is a conventional method. But what is the difference between normal objective achievement process and management by objective, that is the MBO process? The main or important difference between general management process or management by objective process is that objective achievement of objective using your key functionalities. Previously, by using conventional mode, conventional rules, we are running behind achieving the normal objectives. But at this MBO, we have to decide objective first. Along with that, how to achieve that objectives and its identification of key result areas. That means it's a smart work on which things or which areas we have to work so that our objective achievement task will become a very easy, very effective, and very efficient. These things are discussed in MBO process. Again, moving downward, then giving the specific objectives to the individuals. and jointly completion of all the objectives give rise to the achievement of your organizational objective. That means decide initial objective, its important areas, then sort its objective individually, then individual organization or individual objective becomes organizational objective. That goal congruence will give you successful implementation in achieving the objectives in effective and efficient manner. That is the MBO process. So, students, these 2 units we have overviewed thoroughly. Then let us move further. Recent trends in management, which are those the remote work, workforce diversity, flat organization structure, supply chain management. These are the few recent trends given in your self-learning material. Even we are conducting our lecture today through this virtual media. This is also recent trending management through the involvement of a technology, where you are going to manage your studies by using such advanced technology. We are going to manage our syllabus and we are our contact session, counseling sessions through these softwares and all. These are also recent trends in management. Understood? So, while dealing with our next unit, the functions of management part one, in that we you might have observed that detailed study of the planning, organizing, and staffing. These functions are detailed discussed here. Then planning, what is meant by planning, nature of planning, principles of planning, process of planning, types of planning, limitations of planning, organizing, importance of organizing, process of organizing, the types of organizations. These all are points that comes under the planning, organizing, and staffing. You might have been observed with various types of processes, various types of activities, various types of rules, regulations under various sections of the staffing, planning, organizing in your self-learning material. Hope you have learned all these things thoroughly. Just go on reading and understood yourself, because these are simple plain terminologies needs your great attention to be familiar with all this terminology, and it is just impossible to cover all these things in just a 1 hour or 2 hour context session or counseling session. So again I insist you that start study thoroughly, start reading rigorously, and become familiar with almost all the aspects of management functions. Not only in this subject case, but also all the other remaining seven. That means total 8 subjects self-learning material. All of you have got it in your pocket. All the self-learning materials are available with you. Now, why to wait? Don't need to spend much more time on that. Just keeping that self-learning material and just keeping it aside without spending time to thoroughly study on it. Don't waste time, friends. Time is running, and you have a shortest time span remaining in your hand. So utilize it properly by thoroughly reading and summarize it in your words on your notebook or make the short notes. It will be helpful to you while revising the concept just prior to your final examinations. Then, while dealing with our last unit, the functions of management, in this it is discussed the directing, what is meant by directing, the nature, its proper principles, purpose and need of directing. Then communication, what is meant by communication, why it is important, it's a process, its nature, its objectives, its importance, types of communication. All these are dealing with the communication points. Supervision. These are the basic terminologies which we have heard everywhere in your day-to-day life also. Then just you have to shift your view from normal to the managerial by just reading all your self-learning material. So you will be get familiar with what exactly mean by directing, what exactly mean by communication, and what exactly mean by supervision in management philosophy or in the management concept. So just bifurcating points. Bifurcating concept, you will be get familiar with directing, communication, and supervision. So leadership, motivation, and controlling, all these remaining factors you might have learned in the unit number 4 functions of management, that is part 2. So hope you understood your overview of all these 4 units. You might have been familiar with that what exactly this paper 1 of a MBA, that is principles of management, what exactly it consists of, how it is important. Remember friends, this paper is very much important to bring you in a management environment, because to take admission for management eligibility criteria is any graduate. You might have observed this, or you are familiar with that, you have background of any type of graduation. Some of them are from arts, some from commerce, some from management itself, or some are from engineering background, some are from medical background, or some are from any other paramedicals and or other interdisciplinary background, but all are eligible to take management. Why it is so? It itself declares that management requires management concept and its requirement in almost all the sessions. So it is very important terminology, that is a management concept, that we have to thoroughly study, and it is a game changer subject, you can say, because it orients yourself, or it socialize yourself from your other or previous background to the specific management background. It is a building block, or it is a connecting bridge between your previous discipline with the management discipline. So thoroughly study this unit, this paper, and try to study, try to study thoroughly, honestly, dedicatedly, and write your examination or question paper properly, answer right in your examinations for principles of management. Now, what will be the question pattern for this paper? Generally, you have to remember that in upcoming all the sessions, the respective subject teacher might be aware about this paper pattern or not, but kindly consider such type of question paper will be applicable all the papers, all the papers for MBA semester 1 from academic year 2022-23 for all papers. This is not only for our first paper, but also paper number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 also. And this type of question paper pattern is has been already given in your syllabus by the syllabus setters and paper setters. So what is exactly the paper pattern? First of all, you have to consider note the question number 1 and 5 are compulsory. Second is attempt any two question from question number 2 to 4. Figures to write indicate full mark. These are the basic notifications before your exact question paper starts. Then, as far as exact question paper nature is concerned, the question number one will be the case study. What is meant by the case study? For that purpose, I am going to upload a guideline, a video giving guidelines in terms of a case study. How to, what is the mean by case study? How to solve that case study? What is the nature of questions comes under the case study? In upcoming few days, I will upload such video giving total 360-degree guidelines regarding case study and its solution on our official YouTube channel. Once it will get ready, I will notify on our WhatsApp community. Then question number two, descriptive answer question for 20 marks. Question number three, descriptive answer question again for 20 marks. Question number four, descriptive answer question again for 20 marks. And last, question number five, short notes, any four out of six. You have to solve any four questions out of given six questions for 20 marks. Then remember, friends, question number one might have a case study followed by three to four questions or just a single question, varies from 20 mark to 5 mark to 20 mark. If four sub question asked, each question is for 5 mark, or just a single question asked, the case study is for 20 mark. Question number two, descriptive answer question 20 mark. Here they give two long answer questions and you have to solve both of them to achieve the 20 marks. Question number three and four are same, giving two questions for 10 mark each. Then question number five, short note. Short note, given total six short notes. Now you have to solve any four or 5 marks each, which will comprise a 20 mark. So according to our notification or note, question number one and five are compulsory. That means case study and short notes are compulsory. It will it will complete 20 plus 20, that is total 40 marks for your question paper. And remaining question number two, three, four, out of these three questions, you have to solve or attempt any two questions for 20 plus 20, that is total 40 marks. That 40 marks plus question number one and five is 40 marks. That 40 plus 40 will give the 80 marks university theory question paper. Remaining 20 marks are for assignments that you are going to prepare nowadays and will be submitting very soon to your respective study centers. Such type of 80 plus 20 pattern is adopted under CBCS mechanism by Shivaji University, having separate passing heads as I discussed earlier in previous our induction orientation system, that you have to attain you have to obtain the 8 marks out of 20 marks per assignment, and you have to obtain 32 marks out of 80 marks for university theory examination. So all this about a question paper pattern from academic year 20 to 23 for all papers, especially for MBA distance mode program. So general instruction regarding examination. Now let us have a glance over the general instructions regarding examination. Which are those? We will focus it on do's and don'ts. First, do's. Which do's focus upon which things you have to particularly follow, or the things which have to be taken into consideration in a positive manner, or which you have to actually perform. It comes under do section. Read a question paper properly. Don't be hesitate, don't be hurry, or don't be panic by looking towards that question paper. Keep calm, sit relaxed, and read a question paper properly. It will create your mind setting that which questions you are able to solve, which questions you are not able to solve. Don't worry, if question paper if you receive is very hard as compared to your existing studies, don't worry. Try to give justice to those questions which we have studied properly and try to cover as much as marks for your passing the or clearing out your concerned subject. The next is decide which points to be written under which question. In sometimes you are very hurry in writing the question papers or you might have observed yourself feeling burden to follow the timelines of 3 hours because huge quantity is required or a huge concept you have brought on the paper to achieve 10 marks or 5 marks. 5 marks for short, not 10 marks for long answers. Then you must have your mind mapping that after thoroughly reading the question paper, which answer has to be written for which question. Along with that, how long it should be extend your answer by looking towards the marks given in a question paper. That type of decision making again important, which you have learned during this academic thoroughly. The third is the right answer as per the scope of marks. Yes, recently I have told that by looking toward the scope of mark. For example, question is for 5 mark, you are going to return answer as if it is for 10 mark. Not necessary. For 5 marks, answer should be just as for 5 marks. Or on the other hand, question is for 10 marks and you are writing an answer like a for 5 mark. No, not it is required. It is not required, or I can say it is not permissible because for 10 mark answer, 10 marks, while dealing with the 10 marks question, answer should be enough quantitatively as well as qualitatively. So it is must be keep in your mind that right answer as per the scope of marks. Since unavailability of additional supplement also, it is also very important things you have to memorize that you are not going to get any additional supplement. So such type of thing you have to remember during accounting and statistic paper as well, along with theory papers. Clear and good handwriting is highly expected for getting good marks, and this might have told by your mother, father, from your childhood, also from your Balwadi, Anganwadi teachers, primary teachers, middle school teachers, high school teachers, junior college teachers, graduation college teachers, till myself that write clear and good handwriting. Use diagrams, flowcharts, model, tables, etc. as per the requirements of answer. If a specific answer required, diagram, flowchart, few models, few tables, mention it without hesitating because it will enhance or enrich your answer and it will shows that you have well versed with or you have a great command on your knowledge of a specific paper. So use diagrams, flowchart, models, table, etc. as per requirement of answer. If there is no any type of requirement, no use such type of things. But it is required, you have to definitely use diagrams, flowcharts, models, tables. It will enhance and enrich your quality of answer and hence chances of getting more number of marks. Properly indicate question number and right answer to same question in front of it. Because sometimes what happened, question number one be written on your answer sheet and answer of answer of question number two. That means mismatching of question number and allied answer. It should be strictly avoided. Question number one, answer should be in front of it of a question number one itself, not from other question. So you have to be remember while numbering the question because once there is up and downs or uh, overlapping, or you can say properly indicate question number, not properly indicating took place, then it might directly hamper your marks. It might directly uh, lose your marks, depend upon the nature and mentality of assessor or examiner, those who are going to check your question paper. So don't mismatch your question number and answer. Well, instead of mismatching, try to perfect matching both the things and get this key of getting success in your examination. What we can say, yes, properly indicate question number and right answer of the same question in front of it. Then next part of our general instruction regarding examination is don'ts, which things we are strictly avoided. Let us see under don't section. Then rough work, cancelling the answer. Such type of activities should be purposefully avoided while writing the exam on university answer sheets, because I have already told that you will not get any type of supplement. So while doing rough work, you are going to waste your existing answer sheet. It might create a question that raise a question that where you are going to complete your question paper. Canceling the answer. Why to cancel? You are spent much more time on writing the answers, and at last you came to realize that no, this is wrong answer for this question, and again strike out that answer. For that purpose, which management function we have initially learned today, that is a planning. For that purpose, before writing any type of question, you must have to plan what to write, where to write, how to write, which things to be write. All these ws questions should you have to ask yourself before starting of writing the answer. Next is empty space under every answer. Try to utilize your answer sheet as much as proper, because if you keep blank space before every question, before every answer of each question, it will show a bad impression on assessor. No doubt, even though if it is remain blank, then just strike a line diagonally to avoid misuse of that empty space. Because suppose you have written your answer and had covered only half of a page, and you are willing to write answer of next question on the next page. No doubt you may write, but before that you have to complete your line there, and before below that line you have to diagonally strike out that empty space, because it might have chance to create some misuse of that space by external agencies. So to avoid such type of chances, should diagonally strike a line to avoid misuse of that empty space. Special symbols, characters, emojis, etc. strictly avoid, because if you use this in your question paper, it will be directly convert into the exam lapses. That means you have purposefully mentioned these symbols, characters, or emojis to identify examiner that you are a candidate and has to be do the pass marks, or you have to offer good marks. That means it are the indicators of identification of a candidate to the examiner. It is strictly avoided, otherwise you will get fail in your that examination if you found doing such activities by indicating special symbols, characters, and emojis throughout your question paper. Additional margin from both sides. Student has that
So,
habit. Student has that habit to release margins on both side of the paper. Not necessary, because remember one thing, you are not going to provided with additional supplements, so you have to utilize that given answer sheet of 32 or 36 pages properly So why to waste such pages or lines by many drawing additional margins from either side or from both sides? So it is strictly avoided. Multiple pens, multiple inks, strictly avoided, because the ink we are going to use for a specific paper has to maintain the same ink throughout the completion of paper. It might it might be create a problem if such type of query raised by the examiner while assessing that question paper, that half paper is written by a particular pen and half paper is written by other pen, then what is the proof that both the papers or both the answers has written by a single candidate? As question may arise. So to avoid such ambiguity, to avoid such problematic situation, try to use a single pen. Even though if you if your refill gets finished, try to purchase same type of refill so that you may continue your writing the answer homogeneously throughout the single paper. So hope you understood all these do's and don'ts properly in a purely examination point of view. So we will let us conclude our session. What we have seen the syllabus, review of all the units, also general instructions and examination paper pattern. Hope you understood all this session thoroughly and properly. Here we will conclude our session first of context session second regarding paper number one, principles of management. Hope all of you understood the basic idea about what that paper exactly consists of, what we have to study, how to study, when to study, and which things to be studied in pure question paper point of view. So, all the best for your studies and examination. We will stop our session here.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Thanks so much. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Actually, I have a call, so that is why I'm leaving, sir.
okay, no problem.
Yeah, I have a con call. Thank you.
Okay.